Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. And today, I'm going to react to this particular video. I wasn't my fiance's first choice, and I resent her. This is from the channel, the Dr. John Delony Show. So without further ado, after you subscribe to the channel, let's get into this.
Recently, about a year ago, almost a year now, I decided to propose to my fiance. Yeah, and I've known her since high school. We went to high school together, about 10 years back or so. And man, she's been my crush since then. Since the day that I met her, I constantly tell her, I try to hit on her since all 4 years, basically. And even after, it never really quite panned out. And then out of nowhere, last year, I just out of the blue decided to text her on Instagram, and we just connected. We clicked, and things just went great. I was living in Kentucky at the time, and I decided to move back to California, both for family reasons and to be closer to her. And that's when I, popped the question in February of this year. September of last year, and then finally got her family's permission this February. I guess what I'm trying to figure out is, this whole time that we've known each other, I've always wanted something with her, but I've never, it felt like I was just never the right guy for her up until now.
Gentlemen, you may realize that this young man, I assume he's a young man, has been chasing this particular woman for years, since high school. So basically, she understands this man is totally her simp. He's been in the friend zone for all these years, and he feels lucky that she's giving him a chance. So he has no power. He moved to be closer to her, and also he kept on telling her how much he wants her. So he's lost from the very start.
And I'm having a really tough time feeling like she's, like I'm her second or third choice, really. We've had the conversation of our past relationships, of what we want out of this relationship and all of that stuff. And a lot of that's prompted by conversations that you've had with other callers. But I've also heard you say that if you can't get over, those pictures of her being with somebody else in your mind, you have to let her go. When can I make the choice of I can't get over this, or if or how can I figure out if I can't even get over that?
Now, the biggest problem we have here is this is what we commonly call a nice guy. But really, what they are is the weak guy, the emotional guy, the simp. That's what he is. And he can't get over this. He needs someone else to tell him that he's on the wrong path, despite the fact that intrinsically, because he's calling in, he knows he's on the wrong path. So it's this weakness that I keep talking about every now and then. The men will become more emotional than women, that they would chase a woman to the ends of the earth, even when she's got interested. She is not even in the top 10 of our picks, if I may presume. He seems to be the one she'll settle with after she's done running around.
I mean, you can. The choice is, do you want to? Anybody can.
John.
Anybody can.
Right.
It's you just have to decide, do I want this? And I think there's an important reframe here. You say, I wasn't the guy for her. You're looking at all of this from a one-down position. I instantly, when you're telling me the story, the note I just wrote down was, no. She wasn't the right girl for you yet. She had to go explore and figure out who she was, what she thought that she wanted, maybe what her mom was always telling her, what she needed. And then she had to go all right, mom, or her friends or her community or her abuela, who knows? But she went through these adventures. She went through these dark nights of the soul, and she came out the other side and she picked you. And so she wasn't ready.
Now, This is somebody apparently who's very knowledgeable and is here to advise men on what to do. So basically what he's told this young man to do is be the cleanup crew. That's all he's saying here. Saying, oh, she's gone out there, she's been on her adventures. Basically what he's talking about, she slept around with so many losers and she can't find any of those losers that she really wants to commit to her. That's what is going on here. So he calls it being adventurous, going through the dark times. Those dark times do not necessarily make these people better people. We've seen that. So he's advising the young man to be the cleanup crew. Here is your prize after all your sacrifices. A used up, washed up person, woman who doesn't even want you to begin with.
Oh, jeez, I've never thought of that.
And by the way, you weren't ready either.
100%.
Right?
Yeah, no, she even told me the reason why she never actually gave me a chance. I was not only talking to her at the time, and you know,
Of course.
it's true.
Yeah, and so here's the deal. You probably heard me say this a lot. Bro, you're not confident in you. Where does that come from, man?
Oh, dude.
This is crazy.
I
I think this has nothing to do with her. I think it has everything to do with you.
This is the first, really, it's the right thing that is told this guy, because the guy feels like he needs her to accept him. He's working hard to get her approval. He's already on his knees with her. So it doesn't matter what type of person she is, he's on his knees, begging for her attention, for her to take him. How pathetic can you be, gentlemen? What is wrong with you, Eve?
No, 100%. I was in therapy for a bit.
Okay.
I had to get out because financial situations. The whole move back took a lot of, financial strain on me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm working to get back on therapy.
No, you're already
But
circling
we
it around.
landed.
You're already circling it around. Come
Right.
straight through it with me.
So far we've been landing on that.
No, not we. Why don't you like Tony?
Sounds a little bit silly when I say it out loud, but
Just say it, man. I'm not judging
feels
nothing.
that- well, my dad left when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and ever since then I've been looking for someone. Well, I've never felt like I was good enough for anybody to like Tony,
Of course. You know why? Why?
worked.
Why?
because the man that made me didn't love me enough. to
Damn
stick
right.
around.
And there it is. He's already giving him an out. You need to just come up with this sub story about his father. And this is getting really tiresome because, yes, fathers are important. But after a certain age, when you're an adult and you're basing your behavior that you very well know is destructive to you on that your father wasn't there, at what point you decide that you're going to take responsibility for your life? That it's not about your past now any longer, because everybody now is running to their past to excuse the ineptitude of today. It's absolutely preposterous. I do not accept this, in as much as fathers are important in their home. But after a certain point, blaming him is just an excuse. You're a loser.
And can I say something else? That's on him, not you. Your old man left because something was going on with him, not you.
Yeah.
No. You didn't hear it. Your dad left because something was going on inside of him, not because of you. And here's what I'm telling you right now. I don't like going to work some days because I want to hang out with my 15-year-old son. And I'm not ashamed or embarrassed about that. I like the young man he's becoming. I like him. I don't like to go to work some days because I like wrestling with my 9-year-old little girl and listening to whatever crazy story she's coming up with. And I'm not special. I'm just a dad who loves his kids. But your old man bounced because of him, not you.
Yeah. I guess I just never thought this could have anything to do with my relationship. I mean.
Yes, because here's
Yeah,
why. Here's the problem, Tony. You got it. You got the thing you have been fantasizing over for a decade. And what you're realizing is it didn't fill that hole in the center of your chest.
This is the biggest problem I have with the modern world, where now men have been turned into these emotional pity parties, where everybody wants to indulge their emotions all the time. It is not the logical way anymore. So people like this gentleman, have nothing against him particularly, but his job is to dig the hole deeper, so that now every man, instead of handling his business, instead of getting over their emotions, now they want people to talk to them so that they can feel nice about their inadequacies. This will not help you, gentlemen. I'm telling you the truth. It doesn't matter how much you want to feel good about your decisions or lack thereof. This kind of route you take into these all emotions, or you're trying to fill a hole, you're trying to do ABCD, it's not going to work. That's just the way it is, because most people have refused to accept the eventualities of their decisions. If you decided to chase this woman for 10 years, and at the end of the 10 years, when you get her, you don't feel as satisfied, maybe you are chasing waterfalls, young man.
You're still
Oh
a
my
little
God.
9-year-old little boy asking, Dad, what is so bad about me that you left?
Oh, geez, does that apply to everything else? Is that I'm not happy with my job?
Okay, I didn't hear what you said. What?
I said, does that apply to everything else? Is
Of
that why I
course.
feel
That's
a
why
little
you moved
unhappy with
jobs.
my
That's why you
job?
move across the country. And the moment you moved back to California, you already had your eyes on something else, right?
Yep.
Yes.
I'm always looking for the next thing, the next
Because
high, I guess
you're trying to get something from out there to fill up what's in here. And at some point, you're going to have to sit down and like crisscross applesauce and face that 9-year-old little you.
How about this? How about you realize you're a grown-up, realize that your excuses do not cut it anymore, but when you're at work, you have to meet your KPIs, but you're not there. Those are not your mothers and your fathers to take care of you and baby you through your inadequacies. The fact that you keep mentioning therapy, why does every Westerner think therapy is this fix-it-all kind of situation? It never is. In fact, it seems to ruin you more. Get you on some drug and some stupid ideas, like what this guy is doing. And then now you just go this pity party. You just, oh my God, look at me. How pitiful I am. Who enjoys this kind of things except women? There, I said it. Who enjoys this emotionalism except women? You've been feminized, gentlemen.
4-year-old little you. And you could do this in your mind. I've had grown men sit on the floor so they can get the eye line that they had when they were 6 when their dad left. I've had grown men sit on the floor and write a letter to talk out loud, but you're going to have to address that 6-year-old little boy and let that homie go play. Because he's still sitting in the driveway saying, Daddy, come back. I'll do better next time.
This is the kind of nonsense that I can never tell people to do. There's a lot in this world that needs to be done. So you can either be part of it or you can go to such people to massage your feelings and your inadequacies. You can do that. I guess it feels good, especially in the West, where you have so many opportunities that you can basically mess up one and talk about therapy, then you jump to the next. Just going through life because you don't have to suffer for anything. You will not go hungry or go without a roof over your head. So now you double down on these things about your father. How many great men have overcome this nonsense to become great men? Many. This is not a handicap. This is a call for you to become stronger, to stop indulging the nonsense. But you're being fed by all types of therapists because they have to keep a job. Those are the hard facts of this life. And your weakness is feeding another man's family. So that you have to call in on my show and talk about your feelings. and how the woman that you want maybe might see you as not the first pick. You knew that already, young man. You knew that you're not her first pick, but you decided to follow through because you don't want to make the hard decisions. And that's the crux of it. You don't want to make the hard decisions. She doesn't want me and you to move on. You didn't want to do that, so you waited 10 years. You don't want to work harder, so you talk about how you have issues with money. In the first world, where everybody's falling over themselves to give you some kind of leg up so that you can move to the next day, have a hot meal, the roof over your head. But all you're doing is indulging in the worst kind of emotionalism that exists, making yourself intentionally weak. What do you think people in the third world should be doing? The men in the third world do not have any kinds of social safety nets. What do you think they should be doing? They should be sitting in some car somewhere calling some therapist on the internet to talk about how they have their father left. Is that what you want them to do? Do not be like this, young man, and do not listen to people like this. They are paid to make you soft so that you can go back here for the fix. Oh, that made me feel good. Do not go back here. Anyway, that is my reaction to this. I watched just a bit part of it because that's the part that was important to me. You can go watch the rest of the video. I will pin it down in the comment. And of course, before you leave, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and leave a comment to tell me what you think about my not so subtle rebuking of this kind of thinking. And until next time, please